Hello, welcome to a brand new series of walkthroughs, let's plays. Let's whore out our YouTube account, as Total Biscuit would have put it. What I'm calling it is let's play a game. This time, and for the first time, we're doing Star Wars: The Old Republic. So let's have a little bit of background information about why do this series. Couple of reasons. It's Christmas, why the fuck not? There's lots of alcohol flowing. Secondly, EA, I think, have fucked up on quite a lot of points with this game, with the release of this game, and I think the word needs to go out there to the game buying public as to why they fucked up. Well, not really why, but how they fucked up. I think a lot of people know why, because they're money-grabbing whores. So, now, this game launches at least in the EU in, I think, about a week's time. Now, they have done this pre-order thing, which is a new thing. Not many other companies, in fact, not any companies that I'm aware of, have done this pre-order, I'm doing air quotes here, bonus, whereby if you pre-order the game you get early access to it. That in itself I don't think is a new concept. That's quite, well, I wouldn't say standard, but it's happened before. But what they are doing is you have to pay, so you're paying for the privilege to get early access to the game. Which is, I think, new. I can't think of any of the games that have done that, and for the most part, people think it's a good idea, which is interesting. I would have thought, generally, a bad idea, and all you're doing there is giving EA a reason to stab you in the face with a rusty piece of metal in the future. You're giving them free license to charge you for, and let's be honest, again, and I hate to air quote, but I'm going to do it again, pre-release games. And they're not ever pre-released. The game is ready for release, it's ready for everybody to play it, but they're making you pay to get this kind of gated release ahead of your, you know, your friends and your colleagues who are a little bit scummy and a little bit shitty and didn't think to pre-order it. That's all they're trying to do. So in a way, it's a way for people to feel like they're kind of better than the, you know, other guys that are going to play it, which is fine. It's kind of a, you know, a privilege for some people. But the way EA have done it has been, it's just been terrible on every front. So, this is, like I say, this is just me inebriated ripping the shit out of EA. EA have been terrible at their forcing down our throats of Origin, where previously they've released their games on Steam, for example. Steam being a fantastic platform for so many reasons. I'm going to go into some of them right now. One of those is the fact you have to log in once with a unified username and password account. The second being it takes care of all game patching, and to some degrees hardware patching, without any kind of interaction on a user's part. That is fantastic, to the point where it's almost like you're playing on a console. It's that easy. As an end user, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But EA came along with Origin, with Battlefield 3, and they said, you know what, Steam, it's stealing a little bit of our thunder. We need to get in on that shit. We need to carve up that market and make it our own. But they didn't learn any of the lessons from Steam. Steam has been teaching the entire PC and Mac market. They didn't learn any of those lessons. So now with Origin, you need an account to log into Origin, and then seemingly for every game that you want to play, that's an Origin game, you need a second log on. So immediately, even before you've even downloaded the game, they've failed. Now with Battlefield 3 you would need a separate logon to Battlelog, and you would, when game patches came out, you would have to patch that, you'd have to download and patch that yourself. That was a pain in the arse, but it was, you know, people got on with that. With Star Wars The Old Republic, what people have found is that actually not only do you need an Origin account, and not only do you need to go and set up a separate account for Star Wars The Old Republic, but they need to be separate, completely different accounts. But when you go and set up your secondary account on Star Wars, it would actually go and modify, without even telling you, it would modify your Origin account, changing the password, and that's unforgivable. On top of everything else, on top of the completely separate game patching, separate accounts, they've learnt nothing. But here we are, I'm still here, I'm still going to try the game out, and ultimately, aside from all of these account management and game patching woes, ultimately it's about the game. So, let's have a look at the game. So I'm going to approach this from a WoW player. I've played a couple of other MMOs. I've played Ultimate Online for a brief period of time. I've played Conan Online, Warhammer, basically everything online. Warhammer Online. I've played DC Universe Online, PlanetSide. WoW has probably taken up a larger portion of my MMO time than anything else. I've also played Rift significantly. So here we are with Star Wars The Old Republic. Let's see what lessons it has learned from all of those previous fantastic MMOs that have, in their own individual way, innovated and tried to push the genre forward. Bearing in mind, World of Warcraft, 7 years old now. That's a lot of time in development since, I think, 2000, 2001. So the concepts it was pushing forward then were standard. I think a lot of the gameplay fundamentals in terms of hotkey combat and the way you target an enemy, clicking on it to target it for combat is nothing new. Rift has taken exactly the same fundamentals as WoW, and it's spread out the kind of procedurally generated random aspect of kind of like world combat and push that forward in a slightly different direction whilst giving you that same MMO feel. So for me, I'm interested in what this game is going to do differently more than what it does the same. I'm hoping it does very little the same as WoW, because I think at this point WoW has become quite dated in a number of areas. So yeah, let's dive in. So that's episode 1. Episode 2, we're going to go into character creation. We're going to have a look at the classes, and we'll take it from there. So we'll see you next time.